Push them away. What? Push them away. Who? I am live. Did y'all see that? Because I did. I was like, all right, why? I be all, cheesing like, okay, all right. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, things switch. You know what I'm talking about? I'd be more hip than a hippopotamus. Get off in your head like a neurologist. Y'all heard any good Too Short lyrics? Because he have. Now, I'm not the one to gossip, but I told you. Didn't I tell you? I told y'all. Whose son is that? Because I'm just saying. Like, all this talent out here. You know what I'm saying? In the Bay. You know what I'm saying? All of this out here. You know what I'm saying? That's fire. Reese 4. And you gotta borrow lyrics. See, the thing about borrowing is you gotta give them back. You know what I'm saying? Cut that. Apparently, we not that old. You know what I'm saying? We sitting here like 20s and 30s, 50s and 40s. 40 water. I was sitting here saying, I'm smiling, getting all inspired and stuff. Like, okay. 50s and 60 million, 100 billion. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, and all of a sudden, I'm like, what the? This why ain't gonna make no money. This right here, this proof right here. You could say that, he was paying homage, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what they, I'm paying homage to the G's. You know what I'm talking about? I imagine Short was somewhere like, this clown. I mean, did he know? See, this is what I would ask in an interview. Noriega. I would ask, did you know that Sassafras was going to use your lyrics? Just like that, in that voice. I said, whose son is that? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we find out like 30 years later, that people be connected and such. You know what I'm saying? Word around the angels is Easy son look like you. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just saying that wasn't me. That was Satan that said that, I'm looking for inspiration, He got that little group, you know what I'm saying? That little, 40 water. Spring of May. Give me some DAT, you know what I'm saying? Put some of that dust on me, you know what I'm saying? Not that kind that he be, you know what I'm saying? I don't need none of that. I need all my brain cells. I'm too old out here. Ether, where you been? Politicking? You know what I'm talking about? I've been politicking. You ever just come outside and somebody walking by your car and you be thinking like, do I have to cap you? Because synchronicity is happening simultaneously. It's happening right now, right here, right now. You know what I'm talking about? Switch. Things ain't the same around here. You know what I'm talking about? It's not the same. It's not the same. What you talking about? Oh, I'm still Paul. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm still Paul. The angels be trying to convince me that I'm not Poe, but I'll be like, I don't see it. I can't feel it. It's not tangible. You know what I'm talking about? If I can't count it like 50s and 40s, 30s and hundreds, it ain't reality for me. You know what I'm talking about? I want to count it. I want to feel it in between my fingers. Because the big G be playing. You know, they be like, somewhere, you got money. And I'll be like, that's the problem, somewhere. My money need to be present with me at all times. You know what I'm talking about? Is she serious? As a heart attack. I am not playing. I seen an interesting little skit. Not like a little, like a little short. You know what I'm saying? Juvie always gonna make money. Then I see Noriega. I say, all right, that's the players gathering. You know what I'm saying? I would pay probably to go see that. I pay, but yeah, I guess those professional podcasts. You got your microphones and your camera crew and production team. You know what I'm saying? I'm cost efficient. We're gonna meet on Skype. You gonna put your backdrop up. You know what I'm saying? Get out your jewels because they're not gonna get snatched over here. You know what I'm talking about? Why she get so loud? Because I am hyphy. I am hyphy this morning. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? They want to know my finances. You know what I'm saying? I'm hungry. You know what I'm talking about? I am hungry. You know, when you're around poor people, everything is come up. You know what I'm saying? Everything. You ever just be around somebody and they forget that they trying to mac on you? Because I have. I'd be like, get away from me. And then all of a sudden it's like a time warp happens. You need some help with that? Me? Nah, her over there. Then they get dizzy and have to go lay down. You know what I'm talking about? Because apparently you can't mac on me and get away with it. You know what I'm talking about? What you been doing? Marinating? And in a minute, I'm going to be celebrating. You know what I'm talking about? What is going on with her? Like, things is just not symmetrical. You know what I'm saying? You ever see somebody one side longer than the other? I bet they can play ball. Balling. The thing about politicking in the Bay, you know what I'm talking about? It's always been the underground is hidden. It'd be a fire artist that been putting music out for decades and nobody know about them for 20, 30 years. Because everything that's being showcased is womp, womp, womp. That's why I said it's gotta be like a circle. Y'all remember when y'all was underground artists? I'm asking OGs. you know. And it's like, this is why those that are independent that are definitely fire, I suggest you stay independent and and take advantage of every opportunity you have to put your brand, because that's what it is, out there. Yeah. It's gonna come a point where people not gonna be able to borrow other people's intellectual property, because that's what it is. Now y'all understand when I say intellectual property, I'm talking about your residuals. It's important because when you start saying that you are a business person, that means all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. And it don't matter if you sitting there and you didn't wore the same clothes for a week. You know what I'm saying? You building something. That's how it should be. Because what I know to be true is when you get to a certain level, it's all about income, paperwork, contracts. So you always got to read the fine print. Always got to read the fine print. Because when you're an underground artist and you make it to the top, you're going to want residuals. And it's always some up and coming that want to be seen and heard. And they not reading the fine print. That's the way of business. Why you not in business? I'm in business. I was the one that told you that they was coming. Them taxes. I told you they was coming. That was me. When you have something like this, and this is not the first time, it's not a W-2, it's a W-9. When you receive a W-9, you file different. I told you they was coming. It's a lot more that's happening. But you're going to have to pay me because I'm at a certain level. I'm at a certain level. I'm not the average reader. So for those that feel like they don't have to pay me, it's fine. You're going to pay somebody. Rather be me than them people. Because when they come for everything. Everything. And it'll come out in the reading because it's supposed to. Now, I'm saying it's nothing personal. It's business. You have a marketing strategy, and so do I. You have a marketing strategy, right? Because it came up in my reading on the financial tier. Or maybe it was the 6th tier. It's one of them. That's what I'm working on right there. 4, 5, and 6. You know what I'm saying? Because people gonna want to know. And when they find out that it is indeed true, that brings me more business later on. You see, I have a strategy. I woke up this morning and I said, I finally have a plan. Everybody said, what's your plan? What you gonna do? What's your plan? What's your plan? What's your plan? What's your plan? I don't got no plan. This morning I woke up with a plan. So it was different. Where I'm from, wearing the same clothes for a week means you on the grind. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not trying to impress nobody. I changed my clothes, but I'm just saying. Everything is not always on a co. Sometimes you're on the grind and it's legit. How many times I gotta tell you that? You know, I put a meme out about 3 years ago when I showed everyone physically, because memes are a thing. People that have money don't look like they have money. I believe that wholeheartedly. Do y'all understand what I'm talking about? People that really see my stomach is growling. Can y'all help me out? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. See, the thing about circles, right, is I understand how it works. When you're a part of a circle, you're in the loop switch. And when you're in the loop, that means everybody in that circle is notified about what is happening. The artists have their circle, and I have mine, you know? So when I need to know something, I'm notified. I say, you want to be a part of the loop on a different level? Come join the membership. There's nothing wrong with that. I have been blessing these YT streets for a very long time. Yeah? Just giving out free game. Free. You understand? The thing about me is I notice things. I pick up on things quickly. The thing about some males is when they feel they're on the top, they only want what they couldn't have when they were younger. Once you get past that level, you start thinking about investments. You start thinking about possibilities. As a male, this is my observation of y'all. As a female, for you, you start thinking about what you could have, what you could build, who you could be with. For the males, they become bombarded with females. The dudes is there, but by the time you get to that level, they take the back. You know, they go to the back because you realize you can't trust none of them. This is how it is. This is the circle of life. You know, you realize that you can't trust none of them. They go to the back. Then you got a whole bunch of on the keys, a stable of unworthy females. So when you realize that they are all unworthy and you can't really have nothing with them, you start saying, I need me a church-going woman, a businesswoman, somebody that clocks in every day. But with them, you have to be faithful, or it's not going to work. You have to attend, or it's not going to work. So when you pass that level, you say, I don't want to be with nobody. I could do it by myself. But by that time, your well done ran dry. This is the circle of life for males. Now, either you got get back or you don't. Switch. You know what I'm talking about? Either you got some get back or you don't. Now, if you're like the average male, you revert back to your early 20s. You're out there looking goofy, but it's a whole bunch of others that's doing the same thing, so you feel like it's normal. Let me tell you this circle of life for females. We start off, for ones, I can give you several different angles. For ones like me, you start off too kind, too caring, trying to prove your worth, right? Then you get left for on a co, and you decide, I gotta take care of myself. Nobody gonna save me. You get your education, you start building your resume, you start purchasing things, and then you realize that you're still around a whole bunch of unworthy males that want to portray that you are the one that is unworthy because you don't have 8 sections. Because that's the game. We done already talked about the cost of living. I learned early on in my teens about the cost of living. But when others were getting handouts, I wasn't. I was shaking it and baking it, trying to make something happen. You know what I'm talking about, Captain? They were getting handouts, and I was getting hemmed up. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So it didn't happen like that for me. So I had to pay every bit of rent. You feel me? That's how it is for someone like me. You go get your education, you go get certified, you know. You think about purchasing a home, but you don't have no breaks. Yeah. And since you don't have no breaks, you don't have nobody giving you the GAME. So you working 3 times as hard as the average person with 8 sections. That's the game. Because they come up off of those with 8 sections, not jets. They can sit there, build off of her credit, and slang. Right? That's the game. What I created here, I built myself. I built it myself. But this I have here, can nobody take that from me? Can nobody say they helped me create it? None of that. Every part of my business I created, down to the intro and outro. You know, somebody emailed me talking about you just want to focus. You just need to focus on your work. You know, you don't need to worry about editing. Is that right? I'm a content creator. That's a big part of my career. So why would you feel like I'm going to give you access to my content? Do you think I'm a goofy? You're lucky you didn't get blocked. Don't come at me sideways. What about later on? I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know. When I asked the Big G, he said usually they in the street, you never see them because these are the ones that are forgotten. The ones like me. You know, you get the players, you know, after you didn't had a whole life run of players and all of that stuff, they decide when they get 50, 60, the average ones, that they want them a youngster, 30, 26. And all of a sudden, 8 sections don't matter. If you cook, it don't matter as long as you look pretty. And then they sit back and they say, oh, she just jealous of me because I'm young and beautiful. And then you know what happens? They start clipping you, licking you while you sticking them. All of a sudden you start looking old. You ain't cool no more. Your pangawang don't work like it used to. Yeah. I didn't reach that level where I know that much. You know what I'm talking about? I said, the Big G's putting me through this right now so I don't have to go through it when I'm 80. That means something. You know, when I had enough money to go out and buy designer bags, I still didn't do it. And because I didn't do it, that meant I lasted longer inside of the cipher. I told y'all I was building a pathway because this is what happens when you have a paradigm shift. Put that in your reading. The shift leader builds the pathways. It's a pathway to ascension and it's a pathway to descension. And so depending on how you treat me, depends on what pathway you go on. the things that you say, because I am not the type to just say, whoop, ninja. That's not me, but I do know some that are like that. When I came to y'all and I said they say stuff like "I love you," how many of y'all heard that the same day? They're not my team, but they be watching too. Apparently, "I love you." Yeah, this is an example of they're not loyal. See, the thing about it is when you are in Anako, your whole entire life as a male, boys to men, you are surrounded by those type. And when you encounter someone like me, you feel like I'm not worthy because I don't look the part. Remember, I got my bonnet on and sweatpants. I said, I said, this car attracts a lot of attention. I can remember being in my little Honda at the stoplight, right? My father's Honda, right? And the light turned green. And when I went to hit the gas, everybody left me. Everybody left me, and I said, this car is getting old. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I said. I didn't say one day I'm gonna have a better car. I just said it's my father's car. This car is. I feel safe in here. That's what I said. But I noticed that it was sluggish. So when I got this car, it's gonna be more. My car is a classic. When I got this car and I got to the light and I remembered it, the light turned green and I said, Scott! And when I looked in the rear view, I left everybody behind. Everybody. Even them Teslas. Now, one that I did not leave behind was a Nissan, a shift kit. And that thing was older than mine. I have the brain of an intellectual, not a male. I make sense because I am a sense maker. When you are somebody like me and you're alone, you have time to reflect on all of your encounters with indecent individuals, individuals that felt like you didn't have nothing when they encountered you. So you're not going to be nothing for the rest of your life. If I were to treat a male like that, it would be so many that would have a nasty taste in their mouth when they talk about me. They would say I was a gold digger, I was this, that, and the third. I'm at a point, this came before I went abstinent. I told y'all that it was a good 6-7 years that I refrained from any intercourse. And I meant that. Some of y'all are like, why? And it's because you got an ECNEO on you. Every time you encounter a male that you want to use, you feel like they have to use you, your body, and you don't care about money. You don't. Those ones, when they get a certain level, they decide they still look good, so they're going to become a grand model. And they're going to present themselves. Everything is a dramatized movement. Look at me. My hair is real. See, I can part it with my finger. Now, look at my French manicure. Because the men like white. You see my white toes? Don't I look sophisticated? Why y'all think they like French so much? That's a certain era. That's my era. The dudes that like the French manicures. Yeah. The white toes is, that's young. That's younger. But, my era was French manicure. I look classy. I look like I work in a bank. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all always say I gotta get me a church girl. And then you wreck her. And not in a good way. I see it all the time in my readings. In the beginning, I was empathetic. I would say, they just needed a little time. When I would say, you're too nice, just all of a sudden it would be because I felt something. You're too nice. The world is not love and light. Some of them said, I'm not going to watch her because she's negative. I need somebody that's going to say, love and light, it's love and light. While being completely destructive in every facet of their life. It's love and light. I know how to do it good. I told you. I got a phone voice. I'd be like, hello. I'm just double checking. I want to make sure the time is 12 o'clock a.m. Standard or Pacific. I want to call and check on my reservation, give you a confirmation number. That's how Ether does it. Easy. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nothing wrong with that. She got that valley shit down pat. I told you I could be a receptionist. Answering phones, you know what I'm saying? Politicking. It comes and goes. Certain words they want to, they want y'all to know that we're here. That's why we want you to know if it's that we are here. We're not going nowhere. Because it be some, right? Some of y'all like why they do it. It is because some, they got an honor key on them. And cherubs irritate they soul. They don't like angels. Up until the truth that I presented to y'all, that some of these, them, are archangels. Y'all would say, I'm on the demon side. No, you not. No, you not. And if you is, Dollarman coming to see you about something. The one that says, what is your name? He is not playing. He exercises the demons, and so do I. Either. Not all of the demons, dislike me. Some of them like me. Like, they feel like they have to protect me. I'm talking about regular people. A lot of times it's in the hood. This is why I got so much love in the town. I did get popped in the town. But they wasn't coming for me. They was coming for somebody else. I told you, when you in the way, you in the way. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't got no names on them. They just, I told you that they ain't got no aim. They don't go to the range. They don't pop, 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 everybody down. But they right there in front of you. We know. Everybody know. Everybody on the ground know, and everybody looking know. They find it hard to believe that I got capped by a ricochet. Imagine that, an angel getting capped by a ricochet. Yeah, because the one that said past my ear didn't hit me in the head. It was the one that ricocheted off the ground. Yeah, that's why it's so low. Because he wants to psych himself up to believe that all of these rappers and hood dudes is capping at me and all that. Nope. Back then, they was trying to be with me. There still is. I'm just not around. I'm tucked off in the honeycomb hideout. You know what I'm talking about? I already said, when I am around men, physically, I don't have to be in my masculine energy because they got that covered. I am not choosing no Larry Lunch me. Even if I don't end up with my spouse, he not gonna be no Larry Lunch me sitting next to me. This is a fact. Because I'm different. Either why are you like that? And the kid that see shit get in, huh? Because they trying to play with me. Now, before I start, y'all hear that? What song did I hear playing? I said I'm gonna share that, and then God took it out of my mind. Because I done shared it before. I want to ask, some of you celebrities, how y'all get paid from satellite when they pay your stuff? Like this is stuff I would ask. Because with me, when it becomes public knowledge, that means it opens up the door for other blessings. Stop hoarding everything. We already know that you got into it with such and such, and you got a divorce with whoop, whoop, whoop. And I mean, it's just regurgitated timelines after one after the other. Like, we advance. We want to know some of the real stuff. The behind the scenes should really be behind the scenes. My behind the scenes is different. I mean, it is programming for a new paradigm when you watch my content. You can't just say that and then produce garbage. Like, the thing about confidence, it sells. Confidence sells. You could be every bit of trash, and because you're happy, goofy, it sells. What? He thinking about it, he like, I'm not gonna say nothing. You should not. Because you don't know who gonna have a bar for you. Bars. The members that rock with me love me. Because I just be sending out blessings and healings just randomly. And they know it. They be like ether in my energy. They be all happy and stuff. How you just, I be like Moses parting the Red Sea so they can go through without no problems. You know what I'm talking about? He like, I need to just see. You do. Because I'll make a believer out of you. Bars. What would I do in the video? Talk? I feel like I'm just cool enough to talk. You know what I'm saying? And y'all be sitting there like, why I didn't think of that? Because you not me. Because He don't want me in his stuff like that. That's why. He don't want me in his stuff like that. So now you got your answer. I feel like I could do it better. You know what I'm saying? You know? We sitting in the studio, I'd be like, take that out. Put this in there. He don't want to deal with that. Would you? You don't want, you know. Now, my stuff, he'd be like, no. You know? Depending on where I'm at, you know. You know. And if I'm in a Shaktina energy, I'll be like, what? You get the father side of me then, you know? All of them. Then all of a sudden you hear somebody say, why are you doing that? You got to calm down. Both of us. Mr. and Mrs. Smith is right. You know, Clash of the Titans. You know, it'd be like that sometimes. Switch. For those of y'all saying, why she keep saying switch? Because I'm politicking. You know what I'm talking about? I'm politicking. Y'all seen any raccoon content? Raccoons sail. You know what I'm saying? Raccoons be hidden different. Farm living is the life for me. So far and wide. Just give me Manhattan side. I'll be sitting there trying to figure out if that's ish or mud. You know what I'm saying? I'll be sitting there talking about Satan. What is that? Did I just step in cow manure? No, I got to go back to Cali. Cause you know, you be thinking like, you know, you're alone, you know what I'm saying? I do be thinking about that. Like, you know, am I gonna get visited from ETs and stuff? You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, y'all. So I be seeing stuff, you know. My eyes have seen stuff. Spiritually and physically. So it's like, if and all. You know, Anthrax has a look, you know, I'm not talking about that stuff. Y'all know I'm talking about the, you know. There's a look like, you know what I'm saying? Deep sunken eyes, you know. Functional. It's some new stuff. Y'all know some new stuff out. Look like candy. I don't know, because I told y'all they be alchemists, you know what I'm saying? You be walking around here on beam and sleepy. You just walking around beaming and sleepy. Just sleepwalking and talking. You know what I'm saying? What is that? I don't know, because that's not the cool stuff. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? You do that, start thinking you Al Pacino. I want to see you do that. Like, I want to see you do that. Y'all want to talk about that? Y'all remember when he said, I want the pure stuff? I said, you do? How pure? How pure do you want it? He wanted raw pure. You know what I'm about, raw pure. What side of the game is like either on? Like my own side, you know what I'm saying? Collect $200 and pass go. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm living right now, y'all. That's how I'm living. Collect $200 and pass go. You know that little part. You know, in Lavish D video, and they playing Connect 4. I think that's Connect 4. Somebody said they playing chess. I said, that's not chess. It's a meaning to that. Y'all don't understand? Like, you're not from where you from, so you don't understand. I don't know why. I mean, maybe they was just really in there playing Connect 4. But, you know, Leverage D don't give me Connect 4 energy. You know what I'm saying? He give me PlayStation 17 energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just be sitting there playing Madden or something. You know what I'm saying? NBA Live or something. You know what I'm talking about? He not giving me Connect 4. Like, why was that there? I don't know. Maybe he was trying to put something together. You know what I'm talking about? He said, would you go to a mansion party? I've been there in the dream state. I'm not missing nothing. I was trying to get out. I was trying to leave. I was trying to leave. You know what I'm talking about? Have I had any? No. I am percolating another creation story. Yeah. This one is going to be astronomical, for real, for real. I'm not going in a sequence. I'm not following that guideline. You know, she ready to get out the Bible. You know what I'm talking about? When E40 said he'd be at church, I wanted to say which one, because I might slide through, you know. Give you a free reading, you know what I'm saying? Put me on. Yeah. Which one you go to, you know? Imagine me just sitting outside the church, you know what I'm saying? You come outside and you like, here she go. Here she go. What you want, Ether? Well, God told me to tell you that when you entered into that church, you wouldn't go hear him. Now you see what I'm talking about. And then I'll say, buy me some coffee, and I'm out of here. Because it's a disconnect when you go in there as an angel and you ascended. Why? Because you're not supposed to be in there. That is for heathens. Now ask me what a heathen is. Your baby mama. And your baby daddy, that is. Why? Why are you seeing this either? Because I'm entertaining. I'm sitting here, you know. I did like a lot of uploads yesterday, y'all. I did a lot of them. Yeah. The ones that are coming out now, the ones I'm working on, are series, you know. And since, you know, I'm dropping them them 4, 5s, and 6. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all gonna see some of the other stuff. Cause you know I gotta make room. Cause this stuff is different. This is the hood edition. You know what I'm saying? Now, since y'all affiliated, you know, y'all gonna be like, that's him right there. That's her. And you're gonna be able to figure it out. Now, don't tell me that the big G said that you're not supposed to donate. Because we all know what happened when he told you that he watched me, right? We know that clank clank came shortly after that. I said, sometimes it's easy for certain people. All they have to do is bless my CA, PEKA, 6'9". You see me there. You know it's me. What are you talking about? I'm politicking. That's what I'm doing. Switch. They feel like if they come on my live, that they'll get out of his Sakina in their mind. And it's not happening, Captain. What y'all doing today? You going to the bank? You want to deposit off withdrawal? You know, when I was in my 20s, right, I worked for a huge company. I'm not going to say the name. Their policy was weird, right? But I understand it. I was thinking about if that were a scenario for this timeline, somebody knowing that that took place at that time and in that sequence, it would be different. Yeah. Sometimes you don't know about protocol until you're with a company. And then it makes sense. You know, who did it? Because they know the protocol. I bet you that come out in my reading. They say either be looking through, I'm not looking through your grimy eyes. I am not that type of angel. That is for the originals. See, I know my place. You don't. I do not look through nobody's eyes. I don't want none of y'all filthy bodies. I don't want your actual body, and I don't want nobody that you slept with. And I do mean no body. And then what are you doing? She's talking about herself in third person again. Y'all know what a GIMP is? Y'all seen any GIMP content? You know, even, in my lack of maturity, right? When I was younger, 26, I knew that a GIMP is not something that, you call yourself, like, unless you're a part of one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a part of one of them or a certain circle or something, I actually channeled one before, right? They sound kind of sinister. They be talking like, like that. That's how they sound. I am not joking. I put that on my mama. They sound, I mean, you know, and loud. Like when they angry, they loud. You know, you be thinking like they little short, you know. They not short. Since I'm being cued, I'm gonna say, welcome. Welcome back. That is it.